For decades, Visa has been the silent giant standing behind the world's financial heartbeat. Every second of every day, transactions flow through its veins: a swipe in Tokyo, a tap in New York, an online purchase in Lagos, all moving with the speed and precision of a finely tuned machine. In 2023 alone, Visa processed trillions of dollars across its global network, its brand so ingrained in daily life that, honestly, most people never stop to think about the complex architecture making it possible. But now, the ground beneath this empire is shifting. A new player has entered the arena, not a single company, but an entire movement: stablecoins. Once dismissed as a niche crypto product for speculative traders, they have exploded into a financial phenomenon capable of moving money instantly across borders for pennies. Their volume has swelled into the trillions and, well, their growth trajectory is beginning to challenge the dominance of traditional payment rails. For Visa, this is more than a technological curiosity. It is an existential test. Stablecoins could either become a weapon that enhances Visa's global reach or a Trojan horse that erodes its power from the inside. The company faces a choice: ignore the wave and risk irrelevance, or learn to ride it and shape the future of digital payments. The lesson for anyone watching, whether you're a consumer, an entrepreneur, or an investor, is clear. When the old guard is forced to adapt, opportunities open up for those paying attention. The financial world is about to redraw its borders, and stablecoins are the ink. So, to really understand why Visa is making moves, you have to grasp the scale of what's happening in the stablecoin market. In just a handful of years, these digital dollars have gone from an obscure tool for crypto arbitrage to a global payment method, capable of competing head-on with traditional networks. In 2024, stablecoins processed over $2 trillion in transactions, a number that honestly rivals the economies of major nations. So, what makes them so powerful? Well, it's stability paired with speed. Unlike Bitcoin, whose price can fluctuate wildly within hours, stablecoins are pegged to the value of fiat currencies like the US dollar or the euro. This peg gives them the predictability businesses need, while blockchain technology gives them the immediacy consumers crave. A payment that takes days to settle through a bank can be completed in seconds with a stablecoin. This speed is not just about convenience, it's transformative. In parts of the world where financial infrastructure is weak, stablecoins provide a direct link to the global economy. A shop owner in Buenos Aires can bypass local currency instability. A remote worker in Manila can receive US dollars instantly without waiting for a wire transfer or paying a 7% fee. This isn't hypothetical, it's already happening, and it's changing lives. Visa knows this. It sees the writing on the wall. The question is whether it can position itself as the connective tissue between this fast-moving blockchain world and the slower, regulated systems of traditional finance. Behind closed doors, Visa's crypto division has been working to bridge the gap between its legacy network and blockchain-based payment systems. Its approach is calculated: move steadily, partner with credible blockchain platforms, and build infrastructure that allows stablecoins to slot into Visa's existing ecosystem. In recent years, Visa has run pilot programs that use stablecoins like USDC to settle transactions over public blockchains. This doesn't mean consumers are suddenly paying merchants in crypto. It means Visa is quietly replacing part of its own internal settlement process with faster, cheaper blockchain rails. The consumer still swipes a card, the merchant still sees a deposit, but behind the scenes, the money moves differently and more efficiently. The genius of this approach is that it doesn't require every consumer in business to become a blockchain expert. Visa is betting that the average person cares less about how the payment works than whether it's fast, cheap, and secure. If Visa can make stablecoins invisible to the end user while reaping the benefits of blockchain speed and cost savings, it can strengthen its position without scaring off its traditional partners. The challenge Visa faces is immense. Traditional payment rails were built for an era when overnight bank settlements and batch processing were the norm. Blockchains operate in real time, 24 hours a day, with no respect for weekends or banking holidays. Integrating these systems requires more than technical innovation. It demands regulatory finesse, risk management, and coordination across countless stakeholders. Visa's solution lies in building bridges, APIs, and payment gateways that connect fiat systems to blockchain networks seamlessly. It's not about replacing the old entirely, but about creating a hybrid infrastructure where the best of both worlds can coexist. On one side, you have the compliance, fraud prevention, and consumer protections of traditional finance. On the other, the speed, efficiency, and global accessibility of blockchain. For the individual, this bridging is, honestly, crucial. It means that one day soon, you could send money to a family member abroad in just seconds using a stablecoin, while they could spend it locally through a Visa-linked card without either of you having to even think about currency conversion or blockchain gas fees. In certain use cases, stablecoins are already, outperforming traditional payment methods by a wide margin. Remittances, for example, have long been plagued by high fees and slow delivery times. Stablecoins can cut costs to just pennies and deliver funds instantly. For small business owners, stablecoins open up the ability to receive global payments without waiting for bank clearances or losing revenue to middlemen. Even microtransactions, those really small sub-dollar payments that are just impractical with card networks, become totally feasible with stablecoins. This has some pretty big implications for content creators, game developers, and digital service providers who can suddenly reach customers all over the world without being hampered by transaction costs. So, Visa's challenge is to take these advantages and, integrate them into its network without undermining its own revenue model. If it can position itself as the universal translator between fiat and stablecoin economies, it really stands to benefit from every transaction, no matter the underlying currency. No discussion of stablecoins is complete without acknowledging the growing weight of regulation. Governments are watching closely, and they're definitely concerned about the risks of unregulated digital dollars moving freely across borders. In the United States, proposed legislation would require stablecoin issuers to maintain one-to-one reserves and submit to regular audits. Over in Europe, the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, or MiCA, is setting some pretty strict operational guidelines. Visa's deep experience in navigating global regulatory landscapes could become a real competitive edge. Smaller, crypto-native companies often struggle with compliance, while Visa has decades of experience dealing with central banks, finance ministries, and international regulators. By aligning itself with fully compliant stablecoin issuers, Visa could actually turn regulation from a hurdle into a moat. So Visa is far from the only player eyeing the stablecoin opportunity. MasterCard is experimenting with blockchain settlements, and PayPal has launched its own stablecoin, PYUSD. Circle, the company behind USDC, is aggressively expanding partnerships in payments and banking. Even central banks are developing digital currencies that could compete directly with stablecoins. The race is on to secure merchant adoption. The companies that integrate stablecoins most effectively, making them as easy to accept as credit cards, will capture enormous transaction volumes. Visa's existing relationships give it a head start, but honestly, innovation speed will determine the winner. If Visa succeeds in its stablecoin strategy, consumers could enjoy a golden age of payments, faster transactions, lower fees, and seamless global interoperability. But there are potential downsides. Greater integration of stablecoins into centralized systems could lead to reduced privacy, increased corporate control over money flows, and the possibility of new fees disguised as blockchain service charges. The responsibility will fall on individuals to understand the tools they're using. Stablecoins may look and feel like traditional money, but they operate under a different set of rules and, honestly, knowing those rules will be the key to making the most of them without giving up control. For stablecoins to reach mass adoption, they must disappear into the background of the user experience. Nobody wants to memorize wallet addresses or worry about network fees. The payment must feel as natural as tapping a card or clicking a Buy Now button. Visa's future may hinge on its ability to make stablecoin transactions indistinguishable from traditional ones in the eyes of the user, while quietly enjoying the cost savings and efficiency gains on the back end. We are entering a transition period in global finance. Most people will not notice the change until it is already complete, at which point they will simply wonder why payments have become faster and cheaper. But those paying attention now have a chance to position themselves ahead of the curve. Learning to use stablecoins today is like learning to use email in the early 90s. At first it feels optional, but soon it becomes essential. By experimenting with stablecoins, understanding their benefits and limitations, and watching how companies like Visa are adapting, you can ensure you're ready for the next phase of the digital economy.